All right, welcome class. I apologize, you're gonna have to live with the video for today. I am heading home sick. Make sure, get some sleep, eat well, keep yourself healthy. So really the only part of this video that is really important is to note this. Two triangles are congruent if all angles are congruent and if all sides are congruent. Remembering we have this little symbol here for congruent. It means that everything about them is identical. They are all the same length, all the same sides, everything. The big idea, the big goal of today is building on this idea that we don't need every measure. We don't need everything to know if two triangles are congruent. We only need to know certain parts. If we know certain parts, we know that they are congruent. So let's look at these theorems. So I'm going to get rid of this postulate. I don't like postulate. I think it's the less cool way of describing this. It's a theorem. This is powerful. That if you have three sides, there's only one triangle you can make. You can translate it, you can reflect it, you can rotate it, you can do all sorts of stuff with it. But you cannot get a different triangle. If you want to play around with this, grab three anything straight that are different sizes. If you have pencils, grab three pencils because they're usually all different sizes anyways. Take those, line them up, and trace it out and see that no matter what you do, if you take your shape, you can only get one triangle. So this is one I recommend, just play around with it. And you'll kind of, by experimentation, see that there's only one way. Next up is SAS, which is my favorite for some reason. I don't know, this is just the one that for me, I always kind of default to. This is the one I want. So SAS says that if two sides and the angle between them are congruent to two sides and the angle between them of another triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. The way I like to mess around with this is by showing, well, if I have a side, and I have another side, and I have the angle between those, I've locked in those sides and their angles. And a lot of geometry is built on this, so this is my given. If I take and I make a triangle out of this using a straight line, if I do this, there's only one triangle that I can make, right? Let me make this a little bigger. I can only make this triangle. There is no other option. So if I'm given a side, the angle between them, and the other side, this is it. This is the triangle. I know it must be congruent to the other. ASA, same concept, and I'm just going to build it out like that. So I have an angle, side, sorry, that angle sign is just not working out for me. And angle like this. Well, if I take and connect, go through that point and connect to that angle mark. What are you doing, iPad? Sorry, technical difficulties here. So if I connect like that, I'm actually going to need to go further. Let me go really far. Like that. If I do the same thing here, I'm just going to move it. Then we can see that there is, once again, there is only one triangle that I can make doing this. And this is what these theorems are giving us, is that if you play around with it, there's only one possible solution. So what I recommend you do is, for the rest of these, play around with them. Try it out, mess around with it. This is something where you're given all of this information, but when you're doing it, something you need to do is play with it. The more you practice this stuff, the better you get. So your assignments are, there's the note sheet, there's the paper assignment, and then there's an assignment on Delta Math that I emailed you. As you're working through the Delta Math section, it requires you to do 10 problems. If you do the 10 problems, great, you get 100%. If though, because it shows me everything you do, I can see when you last worked on it, how long you spent on each question, all of that. So make sure, do your best work. If you do more, like if I go in and it shows me that, hey, Jim did 200% of the assignment, I'll give you extra points. Because if you do more work on this, the more you practice this, I guarantee you your test grade will get higher. The more work you do on this, the more practice you do, you will get better. I guarantee it. This is true of everything in math, but this unit in particular, I'm putting it all in. If you do, the more work you do, I will give you more points. So do your best on this stuff, work hard, behave for your sub. I will see you again when I get back. Have a great day.